My precious child, there will come a time in every soul's journey when the weight becomes too heavy to carry. A time when strength falters, not because you did something wrong, but because you are human, fragile, feeling, real. The tears will come without permission, slipping down your cheeks like silent prayers no one sees. Your breath will catch in your chest, shallow and tight, as if your very lungs are afraid to inhale one more moment of pain. You will begin to wonder if you can make it through the next hour, let alone the next day. And oh, how long the night can feel when all your strength is spent. You've done all you know to do. You've prayed the prayers that once felt powerful, now whispered in a voice hoarse from crying. You've fought to hold on to hope until your knuckles turned white, your heart bruised with the effort of belief. You've stayed strong for others, put on a brave face, smiled when your soul was unraveling. But now, now you are tired. Bone tired. Tired in a way that seeps into your spirit, that no amount of sleep or rest can seem to mend. You are weary down to the marrow of your being. And everything in you is whispering that you've come to the end of yourself. This, child, is not the end. It is the beginning of something holy. When you come to the edge of yourself, when you've poured out every drop of effort, and still the mountain doesn't move. When the darkness lingers longer than you thought it would, this is not failure. This is sacred ground. It is not weakness to admit you cannot go on alone. It is a holy kind of strength to lift your trembling eyes to the sky and say, Lord, I've done all I can do. That one sentence, that prayer, spoken in the hush between sobs, holds more power than 1,000 bold declarations shouted from mountaintops. The world will tell you to push harder, to bite down and bear it, to never let them see you crack, to hustle, to strive, to grind, to keep walking even when your knees buckle. But you were never made to be unbreakable, child. You are not made of steel. You are not built like machines. You are not here to perform strength for the comfort of others. You are made of breath and bone, of blood and spirit, of heart that feels deeply and soul that carries more than it was ever meant to bear alone. You are the creation of the Most High God, formed not to be indestructible, but to be held. And He knew you would reach this moment. He saw it before the foundations of the earth. This place where your shoulders sag and your spirit sighs. This place where the road ahead looks long, and the path behind you feels like a blur of battlefields. He knew you'd get here, and He did not flinch. He did not withdraw. He did not say, that one's too fragile. No, He leaned in. He prepared a place for you right here, in the middle of your unraveling. A place not of punishment, but of presence. Oh child. How sacred is the moment when you finally let go. How holy is the silence that comes when you stop pretending you're fine. The mask you've worn saying you're okay when you're not can finally fall. You can stop trying to hold yourself together with duct tape and desperation. You can fall apart. Because the one who loves you most isn't waiting for your performance. He's waiting for your surrender. He does not despise your exhaustion. He doesn't roll His eyes at your fears or grow weary of your weeping. He does not turn His face from your weakness. No, He draws near. He leans in close. He brushes the hair from your forehead with hands that once shaped galaxies. He kneels beside your trembling form and whispers, I am here. I am strong where you are weak. I am able where you are not. And in that whisper is the thunder of heaven, not in volume, but in truth. You are not alone. You have never been alone. So hush the inner voice that says you have to do it all. Silence the shame that says you're failing just because you're tired. You are not failing. You are feeling. You are not broken beyond repair. You are breaking open so that something new might be born. God is not disappointed in you. He is not pacing in frustration, waiting for you to be stronger. He is sitting beside you in the ashes, holding your hand, waiting for the moment you'll lean against Him instead of trying to stand on your own. You see, He's not looking for heroes. He's looking for hearts. He's not impressed by strength. That masks fear. He's moved by honesty. By the quiet confession that says, God, I can't do this anymore. That, dear one, is the beginning of healing. That is the soil where grace takes root, so let your tears fall. Let your breath shake. Let your hands release the weight they've held far too long. You don't have to be the strong one right now. You don't have to be anything but real. He is not asking you to prove your faith. He is asking you to rest. In His and in the stillness that follows, something will begin to shift. Not always immediately. Not always dramatically. But something deep and eternal and strong. A settling of peace where panic once lived. A flicker of hope where despair had made its home. A sense that maybe, just maybe, you will make it after all. Not because you are strong, but because He is strong. Child, let your soul catch its breath. You are not forgotten. You are not disqualified. You are not too much. You are simply at the end of yourself, and that is the beginning of grace. This is holy ground. Take off your shoes, your mask, your burden. You are safe here. You are seen. You are loved. And you will be held. Asterisk, 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 you've come to the edge, beloved. And though it feels like the end of everything, it is not. It is the place where the sacred begins. You see, the world celebrates the ones who push through pain with gritted teeth and forced smiles. The ones who never falter, never flinch, never show weakness. But heaven leans in close to the trembling ones, the ones whose hands shake when they reach out. The ones who admit they cannot do this alone. The world has told you that strength means independence, that to need help is to be less. But child, that is not the way of the kingdom. God did not create you to live unbreakable. He created you to live surrendered. Surrender is not a failure. It is not weakness. It is not giving up. It is giving over. It is placing what's too heavy in the hands that have never failed. It is saying, I can't, but I believe you can. And those words, whispered through cracked lips and tear-stained cheeks, are more powerful than any sermon, louder than any shout, because they are real. Because they come from the raw, holy place of need. God is not looking for the strongest. He's looking for the honest, the open, the willing. Those who will come to him not with polished prayers, but with open wounds. He is not impressed by performance. He is moved by truth. And the truth is sometimes you are not okay. Sometimes you can't go on. Sometimes the burden is too much. And God does not turn away from that truth. He draws near to it. So let go, child. Let go of the pressure to appear fine. Lay down the mask you wear, the one that smiles even when your heart is cracking. Take off the armor you've worn for too long. The armor that has kept pain out but also kept love from coming in. You are safe now. You are seen. You are held by arms that are not afraid of your brokenness. There is no shame in your tiredness. No condemnation in your weakness. Heaven is not disappointed in your limits. The truth is, your limits are holy. They are the markers that show you where you end and where God begins. They are the sacred doorway into dependence, the place where your strength runs out and His strength takes over. You were never meant to carry the weight of the world. You were never meant to be everyone's savior. That job was already taken. You were not designed to hold everything together while your own soul quietly falls apart. You were made to lean, to rest, to fall back into the everlasting arms that do not grow weary. And when you do, when you finally collapse into the grace of surrender, something happens. The weight begins to lift. Maybe not all at once, but piece by piece. You begin to feel the burden shift, not because the circumstance has changed, but because you're no longer carrying it alone. You've handed it to the one who can bear it all. So breathe now. Breathe deep. Let your soul exhale for the first time in days, maybe weeks. You are not a failure because you needed help. You are not weak because you cried. You are not lost because you ran out of strength. You are human, and you are held. He does not stand over you with disappointment in His eyes. He kneels beside you, His presence soft and steady, His hands gentle as He gathers every piece of you into His care. He sees you, the real you. The one behind the roles you've played. The one behind the strength you've performed. The one behind the silence you've kept. He sees you and He calls you beloved. You don't have to try harder. You don't have to be better. You only have to be honest. Come to Him as you are, not as you think you should be. He already knows. He already understands. And He already loves you without condition, without limit, without end. This is the sacred invitation of surrender. Not to abandon hope, but to give up control. To place your life, your pain, your future, in the hands of the one who holds eternity. To trust that even when you are out of strength, you are never out of reach. That even in your lowest, most vulnerable moment, you are not forsaken, you are found. And oh, what grace meets you there. Grace that covers. Grace that carries. Grace that whispers to your heart, you don't have to do this alone anymore. So rest now, beloved. Let go of the fight. Let the tears fall. Let the silence come. For in that surrender, you will find not abandonment, but embrace. Not weakness, but holy strength. Not defeat, but the beginning of divine rescue. You are not alone in the dark. You are not lost in the storm. You are simply in the place where God does His deepest work, the place where surrender becomes salvation, and where exhaustion becomes the gateway to peace. And child, peace is coming. Asterisk. Maybe you've spent your whole life being strong, holding your head high when your heart was breaking, smiling through the pain so no one would worry, carrying burdens for others because you didn't want them to fall. Maybe you've convinced yourself that to be loved, you had to be useful, that to be worthy, you had to be needed, that to be safe, you had to stay in control. But child, you were never meant to carry it all. You were never meant to be the one who keeps everything from falling apart. You are not the savior. You are not the healer. You are not the source. You were not made to be the answer to everyone's needs. And you are not less holy for admitting that. The lie of self-reliance runs deep. It whispers that you have to hold yourself together, that asking for help is failure, that needing God is weakness. It tells you that you have to prove your faith by being unaffected, unshaken, untouchable. But that lie is not truth, it is pride wrapped in fear. And if you let it will steal your peace, rob your joy, and wear your soul to dust. God never asked you to carry this life alone. He never looked at you and said, be everything, do everything, fix everything. He looked at you and said, come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest, not more to do, not another weight to carry, but rest, gentle, healing, soul-deep rest. You were not created to live under the crushing expectation of perfection. You were never meant to be invincible. You were designed to be held. And there is no shame in that. So many of us grow up believing that love is earned by strength, by composure, by usefulness. We learn to hide our tears, swallow our sorrow, and smile through the ache because we fear that being seen in our weakness will make us unlovable. But child, the God who formed you sees you as you are, and loves you still. He doesn't love the version of you that always has it together. He loves the real you, the one who trembles, who cries, who forgets, who struggles, the one who reaches out in the dark and says, Lord, I don't know what to do. That's the you he cherishes. That's the you he came for. You don't have to earn the right to lean on him. You don't have to prove your value before he will hold you. You already have it. Not because of what you do, but because of who he is. He is the God who carries. The God who lifts, the God who comes close when the world turns away. So let go, beloved. Let go of the need to be strong all the time. Let go of the pressure to never fall apart. Let go of the burden of being everyone's anchor while you're quietly drowning. You were not made to be their savior. You were not meant to be your own. What if the most faithful thing you could do today is fall into his arms and let him carry what you were never meant to hold? What if your trembling surrender is more powerful than all your striving? What if the miracle isn't in your strength, but in your letting go? There is a quiet courage in admitting your need. There is a sacred power in placing your brokenness in his hands. That is not weakness, child. That is worship. Maybe you've whispered prayers for everyone else but never dared to pray for yourself. Maybe you've stood guard over hearts that were not your own, protecting, fixing, fighting for others while your own soul slowly wore thin. Maybe you've been the one others leaned on, the one who always showed up, always held steady, always stayed strong, and now you're tired. Not just physically. Soul tired. Heart tired. Let this be the moment you allow yourself to be human, to be loved, to be held. You are not failing. You are not broken beyond repair. You are coming undone so that something deeper can be remade. You are loosening your grip so that grace can slip in. You are laying down the armor so that healing can begin. And God is not waiting for you to get back up before he calls you worthy. He is calling you worthy now, here, as you are. Not because of how well you carry the weight, but because you finally said, I can't carry this anymore. So come. Fall into the arms that have been waiting for you all along. Let go of the lie that you must be everything to everyone. You are not Atlas, carrying the sky. You are not the cornerstone holding up the world. You are the beloved, and the hands that hold the stars are ready to hold you. Let him be your strength. Let him be your song. Let him be the one who stands guard over your heart. You have nothing to prove, nothing to protect, nothing to pretend. Just breathe, child, breathe, and let it all fall. You're safe now. Asterisk. There is a nearness of God that cannot be felt in the noise, in the striving, in the strength we pretend to have. It is a nearness that comes only in the breaking, only in the stillness that follows surrender, only in the quiet places where the soul has run out of words and the heart has run out of strength. You do not have to chase after him, child. You do not have to perform for his presence. He is not waiting at the top of the mountain for you to climb your way up with bloodied hands and blistered feet. He is with you now in the valley, In the shadows, in the tears that fall onto your pillow when no one else sees. He is the God who comes close. The God who kneels beside the weary and whispers peace. You don't need to rise to be loved. You don't need to stand tall to be worthy of help. In fact, it's often when you are most bowed low that He draws closest. The world may step away when you are broken, unsure, or too tired to speak, but He moves nearer. He draws in. He gathers the fragments of your soul as a sacred offering. The pain that you think disqualifies you from His presence, it's the very place He chooses to dwell. He does not recoil from your weakness. He does not shame you for your shaking hands. He does not grow weary of your cries for help. Every sigh that leaves your lips is caught by Him. Every tear you shed is precious in His sight. He bottles them not because He delights in your sorrow, but because He honors your heart. You are not a burden to Him. You are not too much. You are not an inconvenience. You are His child, and He comes running when you call. You may not feel Him. You may not see evidence of His hand. The silence might feel endless. The weight might still be heavy. But listen, faith is not the absence of hardship. Faith is the courage to believe He is near, even when you can't trace His steps. And oh, how near He is. Sometimes God's presence comes not in the thunder, but in the hush, not in the miracle that parts the sea, but in the steady whisper that says, I will never leave you. His nearness doesn't always change the storm, but it changes you. It steadies you. It wraps around your shaking heart and reminds you that you are held, even here. Let the others chase certainty, chase performance, chase perfection. You, beloved, are called to simply be, to rest in the nearness of the one who never needed you to have it all figured out, who never asked you to be perfect, who only asked you to come close. There is no audition for God's affection, no performance needed to earn His nearness. Just surrender. Just truth. Just the raw, honest cry. God, I need you. And oh, how He answers. Not always with solutions. Not always with immediate rescue. But with Himself. With the comfort of His Spirit. With the weight of His peace. With the presence that reminds you you are not walking through the dark alone. Maybe the answer you've been praying for hasn't come yet. Maybe the breakthrough still feels miles away. But what if the miracle right now is that you're still standing? Still breathing? Still holding on when everything told you to let go? That is no small thing. That is grace. God's strength is not reserved for the polished, the powerful, the put together. It is poured out most lavishly on the desperate, on the weary, on the ones who no longer know how to move forward but whisper, help me. That whisper, it shakes heaven. That sigh, it opens the floodgates of mercy. You do not need the right words. You do not need the perfect prayer. You only need to come as you are. And when you do, when you bring your trembling soul and empty hands, He meets you not with anger, but with open arms. Not with judgment, but with healing. So be still, child. Let your spirit rest in the truth that He is near, nearer than your next breath. Closer than the thoughts you cannot untangle. He is not pacing, impatiently waiting for you to recover. He is already sitting beside you in the ruins, holding your hand through the pain. He is not the God who stands at a distance. He is the one who enters in. The ache in your chest does not frighten Him. The weight on your shoulders does not overwhelm Him. The questions that swirl in your mind do not silence His voice. He speaks over you still. Quietly, steadily, again and again. I am here. I am with you. I am not going anywhere. Let those words sink in. Let them wrap around your tired heart like a blanket. You are not abandoned. You are not invisible. You are not too far gone. You are seen. You are loved. And you are held by the God who is never far from the brokenhearted. Asterisk. There comes a moment in every soul's journey when the weight becomes too great to bear, and the only holy thing left to do is to let go. Not because you've given up, but because you've finally understood. You were never meant to carry it all. Letting go is not weakness. Letting go is not failure. Letting go is not the absence of faith. It is the very act of it. It is placing your trembling hands into the hands of the one who has never dropped anything precious. It is trusting that when your strength ends, His begins. That when your wisdom fails, His plan still holds. That when your voice breaks from crying out, heaven has not stopped listening. Child, there is a hidden strength in release. A sacred power in surrender. The world tells you to hold on tighter, to grip control, to manage, to strive, to prove, but God calls you into the opposite way, the upside-down kingdom, where the strongest are those who know how to fall into grace. You were not made to whiten up your way through life. You were not created to force outcomes, fix every detail, or be the hero of your own story. That role belongs to Him, the God who sees what you cannot see, knows what you cannot know, and holds what you cannot carry. So, let go. Let go of the fear that keeps your heart clenched and guarded. Let go of the story you thought your life would follow. Let go of the pressure to perform, the expectation to never stumble, the burden to have all the answers. It's not yours to hold. God is not waiting for you to impress Him with your ability to keep everything under control. He's waiting for you to trust Him with everything you cannot. He's waiting for you to say, I can't fix this. I don't know what's next. But I place it in your hands. And when you do, when you loosen your grip and open your hands, even if they're shaking, He doesn't leave you empty. He fills you, not always with quick solutions or instant change, but with peace, with clarity, with holy rest, with strength that steadies even in the chaos. There is strength in the stillness. There is power in the pause. There is bravery in the breath you take before releasing control. Letting go is not resignation. It is revelation. It is stepping into the mystery of grace. It is choosing to believe that God is still writing the story, even when you don't understand the page you're on. Maybe you've been carrying the weight of someone else's expectations. Maybe you've been trying to fix what only God can redeem. Maybe you've been clinging to a plan that is no longer serving your soul. Or maybe you've been afraid to release your pain, unsure who you'd be without it. But the hands of God are steady. They do not shake when you let go. They do not falter under the heaviness of what you bring. He is not overwhelmed by your surrender. He welcomes it. He receives it like a sacred offering. Every tear, every unanswered question, every fear wrapped tightly around your heart, all of it, He holds with holy tenderness. So breathe, child, breathe deep. You do not have to carry it anymore. Lay it down. Lay you down. Let yourself unravel if you must. The unraveling is not the end, it's the beginning of healing. Sometimes, the bravest prayer is the simplest one. God, I give it to you. And sometimes, the strongest step is the one that leads you to your knees. There, in the posture of humility, your heart learns to receive what it could never earn: peace that passes understanding, grace that fills the cracks, mercy that lifts what human hands cannot. Letting go does not mean you've stopped caring. It means you've started trusting. It means you are no longer trying to outrun your exhaustion, but instead, allowing yourself to be carried. It means you have come to the holy realization that God's hands are safer than your own. This is where strength lives. Not in the clutching, but in the releasing. Not in the perfect plan, but in the surrendered heart. Not in the ability to keep going no matter what, but in the wisdom to stop and say, I don't have to do this alone. So let the tears come. Let the weight fall. Let the silence speak. And let your heart learn what it is to rest in the arms of a Father who never asked you to be unbreakable, only to be His. There is strength in letting go, and that strength, it is not your own. It is His. And it will hold you. Waiting can feel like a wilderness. A dry, silent land where every prayer seems to vanish into the sky. Where the days stretch long and the nights fall heavy. Where answers don't come, doors don't open, and time feels both slow and uncertain. Waiting can feel like punishment. Like forgottenness. Like the pause button has been pressed on your life while the rest of the world keeps moving. But child, the waiting is not wasted. The stillness is not silence from heaven. The ache is not abandonment. It is an invitation, a sacred invitation into deeper trust, into hidden strength, into a miracle being formed in secret. You see, we are people of movement. We love beginnings. We love breakthroughs. We love the rush of progress, the thrill of resolution. But God often does His most powerful work in the unseen. In the in-between. In the space between the question and the answer, the cry and the deliverance, the sowing and the harvest. Miracles do not always come in flashes of light or thunderous moments. Sometimes, they come slowly like seeds pushing through soil. Quiet, hidden, but alive. God is working, even when it feels like nothing is happening. Maybe the healing hasn't come yet. Maybe the clarity still hasn't broken through the fog. Maybe the promise feels as distant as ever. But what if the waiting is the miracle? What if it's in this place that your roots are growing deeper, that your faith is being fortified, that your identity is being shaped not by what you do or what you fix, but by who you trust? God does not rush the process. He is not in a hurry. He is more concerned with your wholeness than your timeline, more interested in your heart than your hustle. He is not trying to frustrate you, He's trying to form you, to draw you nearer, To make you unshakable, not because everything goes right, but because your spirit has learned to rest even when nothing changes. There is something sacred in the slow becoming. In the daily dependence, in the whispered prayers that seem to echo back with silence. For in that silence, your heart begins to hear the deeper truths, that God is faithful even when He is quiet, that His presence is not proven by quick answers, but by enduring nearness. Do not fear the waiting, beloved. Do not despise the stretch between promise and fulfillment. This space is holy ground. This space is where character is forged and trust is deepened. It's where your faith gets its roots. When nothing seems to move, when the breakthrough delays, when the mountain remains unmoved, it is not because God has left you. It is because He is doing something in you before He does something through you. The waiting teaches you how to see differently, to notice the little graces, to count the daily mercies, to let go of the need to control and rest in the truth that you are held by a God who has never failed, not once. Maybe the waiting is teaching you to pray, not for quick fixes, but for deeper intimacy. Maybe it's teaching you that God is not just the answer to your prayer, He is the reward. He is what your heart truly longs for. Even when you don't realize it, child, even when you feel stuck, you are still being shaped. Even when the road is quiet, your journey continues. You may not see the fruit yet, but the roots are growing. You may not feel the wind shift, but the skies are clearing. The miracle is coming, but so is the maturity, so is the resilience, so is the strength that lasts long after the answer arrives. You are not forgotten in the wait. Heaven has not turned its face from you. The very fact that you are still breathing, still holding on, still choosing to believe in the dark, that is a miracle in itself. So rest, even as you wait. Breathe, even when the answers don't come. Hope, even when you don't see the signs. Yet, God is not late. He is not lost. He is not unsure of your path. He is weaving something eternal out of your temporary ache. And when the miracle does come, when the door opens, the burden lifts, the healing begins, you will not be the same person you were when the waiting started. You will be deeper, stronger, softer, wiser. You will know that the God who sustained you in the silence is the same one who now celebrates with you in the sunrise. So don't rush ahead. Don't try to force what only heaven can bring. Be still. Stay faithful. Keep your eyes on the hills from where your help comes. The waiting is not the end of the story. It is the sacred middle. And even here, God is working all things, yes, all things for your good and His glory. There comes a moment in every heart's journey when you are no longer walking on your own legs, when your strength has run out, your prayers feel dry, and even hope seems like a distant memory. It is in that sacred, surrendered space, when all you can do is whisper, God, I can't take another step, that something holy happens. You are carried. Not because you've earned it, not because you've said the right words, but because you are His. And He promised never to leave you, never to forsake you, never to abandon you. When your knees buckle and your courage shatters, there is no shame in being carried, child, no disgrace in coming to the end of yourself. In fact, this is the place where your deepest healing begins. You were never meant to hold everything together, never asked to have all the answers. You were simply invited to be loved, to be held, to be cradled by grace when your bones are too tired to stand. The world might not see the beauty of this moment. It may still applaud strength and self-sufficiency. It may tell you to keep pushing, to wear your exhaustion like a badge of honor. But heaven rejoices in your surrender. Heaven celebrates the hands lifted not in victory but in weakness. For this is where the power of God is made perfect. You are not a burden to the one who carries you. You are not too heavy, too broken, too complicated. He does not roll His eyes when you collapse. He does not sigh in frustration when you say, I can't do this anymore. No, He draws closer. He gathers your soul into His arms, and He walks the road for you when you cannot walk it yourself. This is not the end of your story. This is the part where mercy takes over, where His strength becomes your strength, where His peace becomes your breath, where His love wraps around your spirit like a covering, like shelter from a storm you no longer have the strength to withstand. Maybe you've spent years being strong for others. Maybe you've stood in the gap, carried the weight, been the one everyone leaned on, but now it is your turn to be held. Now it is your time to rest in the arms of the Father who has been waiting, patiently, lovingly, for you to let Him carry you. Don't resist this gift. Don't fight the grace that meets you in the low places. Let yourself be weak. Let yourself be small. Let yourself be cared for. There is no power in pretending. No healing in hiding. You don't have to wear a brave face before God. He already sees, he already knows. And still he stays. Still he lifts, still he whispers, I've got you, child, you're not alone. And when he carries you, he doesn't do it out of pity. He does it out of love. Fierce, holy, unshakable love. Love that knows the path ahead even when you don't. Love that walks through fire and flood to rescue you. Love that rejoices not in your ability to perform, but in your willingness to be his. So rest. Rest without guilt. Rest without apology. Lay your burdens down at his feet, not to pick them back up tomorrow, but to leave them there once and for all. Let him carry the weight of what you were never designed to hold. Let him fight the battles that wore you down to the bone. Let him be your refuge when everything else has failed. And as he carries you, you will find that the world looks different. The striving quiets, the anxiety softens, the impossible begins to feel possible, not because anything has changed outside, but because something has shifted inside. You've been caught, you've been carried, and you are being made whole. There is a healing that happens when you stop running, a peace that enters when you stop trying to be everything. There is a wholeness rising from your surrender, not built by your own hands, but crafted by the one who knew exactly how to hold you all along. And when you are finally carried, you begin to understand that the greatest strength is not in how far you can go, but in how completely you can trust the one who carries you. So, let go, precious soul. Let yourself fall into his arms. You will not break beyond repair. You will not fall beyond his reach. You are safe, you are loved, you are carried by everlasting arms. Beloved, if this journey has taught you anything, let it be this: you were never meant to carry life alone. True strength is not found in never breaking. It is found in letting God hold the broken pieces. It is found in surrendering the illusion of control and embracing the truth that your worth was never tied to your performance, your productivity, or your ability to hold it all together. You are not failing because you're tired. You are not weak because you've come to the end of yourself. In fact, you are closer than ever to the very heart of God. For it is there at the edge of your strength that his power begins to shine. So when the night stretches long, when the weight feels unbearable, when the silence lingers longer than you expected, breathe, pray, then let go. Let yourself fall into the arms of a God who never fails. Let your soul be filled with peace, not born of circumstance, but born of being held. Today, take one quiet moment. Go somewhere still. Close your eyes. Unclench your heart. Whisper this simple prayer: Lord, I give it all to you. I cannot do this alone. Be my strength where I am weak. I surrender. Then breathe. Trust and rest in the knowing. You are not alone. You are seen. You are carried. You are so deeply, fiercely loved. This is not the end, it's the beginning of being made new.